This is the decades-long path to the Klamath River removal process. It proves we can build magnificent infrastructure, dams that powered our homes, feed farms, tamed wild rivers, but radicals can tear it all down on a whim. Zero regard for families that they destroy. I appreciate you inviting me into your circle, the real folks living the aftermath. Like I said in my other videos, my goal, figure out exactly how they did this, how did they pull it off, the step-by-step playbook, so we learn and we can stop it from happening again. What I uncovered, heartbreaking devastation, lives ruined, life savings wiped out, dreams shattered. This 4-video series unpacks it. Video 1, your personal stories of loss. Video 2 and 3 are the process. 1 summary with expert interviews. This one, which is a detailed timeline. And the 4th video is a peaceful float down a now dead river with a local guide. Look for the links in the description to all the videos. Now, researching this was a bit of a nightmare. Understanding it was daunting, but trust me, it's a tangled web of Fed agencies, state bullies, tribal leverage, corporate tricks, and political steamrolling. Over 60 years. And is it acronym heavy, possibly even acronym overload? Yes, it's unavoidable but clearly purposeful to make it confusing. But I'll explain each one clearly as we go, like I'm walking you through it. This didn't just nuke 4 dams, it upended 16,000 square miles of Oregon, California basin. Equitable water sharing turned into a war over fake endangered species, indigenous rights, and restoration lies. Some ask why I took this on. It hits to the core. Broken lives, ruined farms, lost habitat, surrendered dominion, depleted savings, all for the big lie, and saving the fish and climate justice. Read starting in Genesis 1:26, which happens to be the very last passage of the creation work on the 6th day just before God rested. It says, "Then God said, let us make man in our image after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the heavens, and over the livestock, and over all the earth, and over all creepy things that creeps on the earth." So God created man in his own image, and in the image of God he created him, male and female, he created them. And God blessed them, and God said to them, "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the heavens, and over every living thing that moves on the earth." And God said, "Behold, I have given you every plant yielding seed that is on the face of all the earth, and every tree with seed in its fruit. You shall have them for food. And to every beast on earth, and every bird in the heavens, and to everything that creeps on the earth, everything that has the breath of life, I have given every green plant for food." And it was so. And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was good. And there was evening, and there was morning on the 6th day. Those that oppose us hate that I just read that. Our entire existence is in thanks and praise to God and our Savior Jesus Christ, who fulfilled the law and gave us eternal freedom. We are called to have dominion over the earth and to subdue it for our purposes. Does that seem unfair for anything that is not human? Sure, but the trees and the plants and the animals and the fish were created for this purpose. So let's trace the water woes back to the early 1900s, when the feds rightly prioritized damming for transportation, irrigation, and hydropower. Let's set the stage for the baseless Save the Salmon fights. Let's review a timeline with a step-by-step destruction agenda. In 1905, U.S. Bureau of Reclamation authorized early Klamath hydropower. In 1918, COPCO No. 1 was built by California Oregon Power Company, later named PacifiCorp, for irrigation power. In 1925, COPCO 2 dam was built. 1957 was the Klamath Basin Compact, which is the KBC, which was a pact between Oregon and California approved by Congress. Equitably splits water for states, tribes, farms, and fish. Along with this was the KBC Commission, which was a group of people to oversee it. Treats hydro, cities, farms as equal priorities. In 1958, the J.C. Boyle Dam was completed, which was authorized by FERC, which is the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission. In 1964, Iron Gate Dam, the biggest earth-filled structure at the time, was approved by FERC, which is again the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission. 4 dams totaled, stabilized the wild river flows, cooled hot river for salmon and other sea life, and boosted recreation. 1980s is when the environmental manipulation kicks off. In 1988, the U.S. Fish and Wild Service, the FWS, lists the suckerfish, which are native to the Upper Klamath, as endangered. The BOR, also known as the USBR, or the U.S. Bureau of Reclamation, gets manipulated. Dams hurt fish. They say, but it's a total lie. The dams gave the suckerfish more water security than ever. The evil trigger was when water shut off for farmers happened to save the fish. Fish versus farmer war, which is still raging on today. 1992, the UN Agenda 21 from the 1992 Earth Summit sparks U.S. river restoration. VP Al Gore under Clinton pushes it hard, not surprising. In the 1990s, Reed Noss's rewilding movement targets Klamath. In 1992, Wild Earth article in 1999 book Protecting the Wild, he picks Klamath as one of 10 core areas to be protected wildlife corridors. Other locations include Yellowstone, Everglades, Appalachian, Sonora Desert. None of the others were on the list ever saw any action. So the translation was that this rewilding project was 100% aimed at dam removal, no matter the cost. In 2001, the drought was weaponized. BOR, again, Bureau of Reclamation, shuts off irrigation water to 200,000+ acres of endangered sucker coho salmon. Lawsuits explode. 2002, President Bush forms the Klamath River Basin Federal Working Group. DOI funded, that's Department of Interior. Rancher Jim Root facilitates Klamath Working Group, brings in untouchable tribes, the Yurok, the Karuk, and the Klamath, with treaty rights. Of course, they demanded dam removal for salmon. My understanding is that the Shasta tribe refused dam removal. In 2006, Scottish Power sells PacifiCorp to Berkshire Hathaway for $5.1 billion. This was a big win for the Buffett's firm. They received a $1 billion tax write-off, 20% of the price, on the dams that were only producing less than 1% of PacifiCorp's total revenue. Berkshire walked away with zero liability and voided all the decommissioning cost. Financially, it was a no-brainer. Despite community devastation, we can still call it PacifiCorp, by the way. The name didn't change even though the ownership structure did. In 2010, Klamath Basin Restoration Agreement, which is the KBRA, 250-page pact, guarantees farmers 340,000 acre-feet of water per year, but only big industrial farms join the deal. Small family operations are sidelined to junior water rights, not by choice, but by force. That same year, in 2010, Klamath Hydroelectric Settlement Agreement, the KHSA, adds PacifiCorp, but mandates dam removal by 2020. States threaten Clean Water Act denial of the FERC relicensing, which means that PacifiCorp would not be relicensed by FERC to continue operating the dams. And if they did not agree, then they would face millions in fines and shutdowns and be on the hook for dam removal or decommissioning costs. But we already know that Berkshire Hathaway had to know when they bought PacifiCorp that this was coming. Zero liability, ratepayer funded $200 million on the removal fees, which ended up tripling before the project was finished. In 2011, California PUC, or the CPUC, which is the California Public Utilities Commission, who literally exists to protect ratepayers, will they approve the removal of the dams and $200 million surcharges on California customers for cost plus insurance. Oregon Public Utilities Commission followed suit, and critics rightfully screamed conflict, saying you are charging folks to destroy their power source. This makes no sense and should not have been approved by the PUC without corruption. In 2015, Congress rejects the KBRA and KHSA bill requesting $1 billion in funding to remove the dams. This is a huge roadblock. Again, the KBRA, the Klamath Basin Restoration Agreement, ends up expiring. 20 million environmental funds approved, but Congress did not approve removal or funding for removal. This is a key lesson. Congress can block, but radicals don't quit. Kristen Lambert, Jim Root's daughter, KBC commissioner at the time. Remember, the KBC, or Klamath Basin Compact, with its own commission that was started in 1957 primarily to promote water equality to all the users. Kristen Lambert is the daughter of Jim Root, who was one of the locals helping to make sure the dams were removed, is leading the commission, and is also the Oregon director of another NGO removal proponent called Trout Unlimited. Of course, the farmers cry conflict and are ignored. In 2016, Obama's Department of Interior Secretary Sally Jewell amends the KHSA, or the Klamath Hydroelectric Settlement Agreement, and pumps $20 million in public funds to regroup governors and tribes and pro-removal folks. They form the Klamath River Removal Corporation, which is the KRRC, the nonprofit that will eventually own and eat all liability from the dam removal. The KRRC tweaks the settlement agreement known as the KHSA to capture the fund, which will amount to around 10 to 15 million in ratepayer cash, which would be used for insurance to protect the board members who are trying to remove the dams. You cannot make this stuff up. They take ratepayer funds destined to destroy power-generating dams they need to survive, and the KRRC, Klamath River Removal Corporation, board members use those funds to buy insurance on themselves for what they are about to do. FERC, or the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, says not enough, we need more insurance. So Oregon contributes $15 million of the state's tax dollars. PacifiCorp contributes $15 million. Remember, they got that $1 billion tax perk. And California pitches not just $15 million, but also offers unlimited taxpayer-paid state attorneys to make the future dam destruction bulletproof for any personal liability. In 2023, FERC greenlights the shutdown. Dam drawdowns start in January 2023 with COPCO 2 first. Full removals of COPCO 1 J.C. Boyle Iron Gate are completed by October of 2024. KRRC is set to dissolve in 2028, which implodes all potential liability forever. That is how they did it. It was more muddled with misdirection than it was clean and clear. I feel like I'm watching a ball in a pinball machine as they study this pathway. What ultimately made them successful? It was perseverance. They never gave up. Even when it seemed like there was no way, they kept pressure on. They were relentless, and they eventually found a way. We can learn from this. We need to be just as persistent and passionate about protecting our natural rights, which include our person, our liberty, and our property, as they are with their destructive plans. I believe when we go head to head, we are on the right side of history, and we will win more battles than we will lose. We lost this one for now because not enough people stood up to engage to stop it. Circumstances fell their way in time, and they found a pathway. We lost 163 megawatts of power and $1 billion or more in public costs just for the destruction. We lost public safety apparatus with water retention and the river control. We lost a transportation pathway. We lost a place of rest and recreation. We lost a tremendous amount in diminished property values. We will lose again when we are asked to fund the construction of new dams in place of these that were destroyed. The scars remain: broken landscape, shattered lives, plundered fortunes. River damage will take decades to fix, and we know that the river was never suitable in its natural state for sea life because it's too hot with the shallow tributaries supplying it. It needed the deep reservoirs to cool the downstream, making it more habitable for fish and wildlife. Be sure to watch the other videos in this series. There's 4 total. The first one is your personal stories of the loss. Videos 2 and 3 are about the process. This one is a more detailed one. There's also a summary. Video number 4 is a peaceful float down the river with a guide named Al Kutsky, who's literally been on the river for 45 years. So what can we learn from this? Number 1, evil never stops. They are relentless and ignore or do not care about the laws or rights of others. Number 2, they leverage regulations. They demonstrate that they would do whatever it takes. They threatened to withhold permits, they dangled tax perks, and they were able to force the compliance they needed. Number 3, trust the science, but only if it fits their agenda. Ignore it otherwise. Number 4, people power wins. Band together or get crushed alone. That is truly what happened in this story. Too few stood together. I cannot overstate the power of our unity. Number 5, attorneys have built precedents. This win now puts them one step closer to dominating these sort of fights in the future. Number 6, they plundered us. They plundered the American people. They once again forced us to fight government on an uneven playing field. Remember, we funded their legal protection and bills. What are the positives from this? I see none. Zero, nada, nothing. Companies cash in, radicals celebrate, but for we the people, we all lose. I hope that in some way that this project to produce these videos and to clearly articulate what actually happened does bring some value in terms of our ability to arm ourselves to fight them in the future. Share this video and others in the series. Fight back, never give up. Links are below to the other videos. God bless you. God bless America.
American values do not align with leftists because they hate America. We must engage by giving our dollars and our talents to defend our great American values. Visit jaredsessler.com to donate and get involved. Say yes to America.